It was Periwinkle's first day of school. "I'm really excited," he said to Blue and Joe. "But I'm a little nervous, too." He was glad that they were coming with him. "Let's go," Periwinkle said as he hopped out the door. "To school we go, to school we go, it's off to school we go," they sang as they walked. But when Periwinkle saw his school, he stopped singing. "Will school be okay?" he asked. "I have a great time at school," said Blue. But Periwinkle still wasn't sure about school. He wondered what the classroom would be like. Would his teacher be nice? Would he make new friends? "What if I don't like school?" asked Periwinkle. "Well," said Joe thoughtfully, "do you like to paint pictures? Or read stories? Or build things with blocks?" "Yes," said Periwinkle, "I like to do all those things." "Then I bet you are going to love school," said Joe. In the classroom, Periwinkle's teacher introduced herself. "Welcome to school, Periwinkle. I'm Miss Marigold," she said. Then she asked Blue to show Periwinkle the cubbies. "Which one is mine?" asked Periwinkle. "The one with your picture on it," said Blue. Periwinkle looked at all the cubbies. "Hey, that's me," he exclaimed when he saw his picture. Blue and Periwinkle put their lunch boxes in their cubbies. Miss Marigold clapped her hands. "Okay, it's circle time," she said. "Let's all sit in a circle on the rug." Periwinkle sat next to Blue. "We have someone new today," said Miss Marigold. "This is Periwinkle." "Hi, Periwinkle," said the whole class, smiling at him. Periwinkle blinked and smiled back. "It's time to play the name game," said Miss Marigold. "Pick a color from the pile. Then say your name and your favorite color." Blue went first. "I'm blue, and blue is my favorite color," she said. Next it was Periwinkle's turn. "I'm Periwinkle, and my favorite color is red," he said. "Red is my favorite color too," said Purple Kangaroo. "Wow," thought Periwinkle. "Someone likes the same thing I like." After circle time, Periwinkle learned that everyone had a special job. Periwinkle looked at the job board and saw that his job was to feed Giggles, the rabbit. "I've never fed a rabbit before," said Periwinkle. "I'm not sure what to do." "There's a sign above the cage," Miss Marigold said. Periwinkle looked at the sign. "It says Giggles gets 3 cups of food." "That's right," said Miss Marigold, and they measured the pellets together. "1, 2, 3. exclaimed Periwinkle as he put the pellets in Giggles' cage. At recess everyone went outside. The playground had lots of great stuff, even a water table. Periwinkle liked to race the boats and splash them into the water. "Stop it, Periwinkle," said Orange Kitten. "You are getting us all wet." Periwinkle looked at his wet classmates. "Sorry," said Periwinkle. "I'll try to be more careful." After that they all had a better time at the water table. When they came inside it was time to paint. But Periwinkle wanted to play with blocks. "Right now it's painting time," said Miss Marigold. "But I really want to play with blocks," said Periwinkle. "You can play with blocks tomorrow," said Miss Marigold. She pointed to the schedule. "Can you tell me what it's time for now?" she asked. "It's time to paint," Periwinkle said excitedly. He put on a smock and swished paint across his paper. Then Joe walked in to check on Periwinkle. "That's a nice painting," said Joe. "Thanks," said Periwinkle. "It's painting time." At lunch Periwinkle sat at the lunch table with his classmates. They all had different things in their lunch boxes. "I have a brownie," said Green Puppy. "I have a cookie," said Periwinkle. "Want to trade desserts?" asked Green Puppy. "Sure," said Periwinkle. Then it was time to go home. "But I don't want to go home," said Periwinkle. "You don't?" said Joe. "That must mean you liked school." I did. I liked it all. School is cool, said Periwinkle, and I can't wait to come back tomorrow. One day Magenta went to visit Steve and Blue. Oh, hi, Magenta. Aren't you going to the eye doctor today? Steve asked. Magenta nodded. Why do I have to get glasses? She sighed as she went inside. None of my friends wear glasses. Do you want to help us with this puzzle, Magenta? Steve asked. Magenta nodded happily, but Magenta couldn't see the puzzle pieces clearly. She squinted and squinted, but it was no use. She couldn't see well enough to help finish the puzzle. What's the matter, Magenta? Asked Steve. Don't you feel like playing? Magenta shrugged. I wish everything wasn't so blurry, she told her friends. While Steve and Blue worked on the puzzle, Magenta wondered what her eye exam would be like. I hope the doctor is nice, she thought. Soon it was time to leave. Magenta was feeling a little nervous, but Steve knew how to make her feel better. Would it help if Blue and I came along? He asked. Magenta nodded. Don't worry, Steve told her. When you get your glasses you'll be able to see perfectly. Maybe getting glasses won't be so bad, Magenta decided. She smiled at Steve and Blue and said, let's go. As they walked to the eye doctor's office, Blue spotted a bird high in a tree. Magenta squinted and squinted, but she couldn't see the bird among the leaves. I wish I could see the bird, thought Magenta. Then Steve and Blue saw a pretty butterfly. But no matter how hard Magenta tried, she couldn't see it. When I get my glasses, maybe I'll be able to see the butterfly too, Magenta said to herself. Soon they arrived at the eye doctor's office. Dr. Eileen greeted them at the door with a big smile. Come on in. I've been expecting you, she said. As Magenta, Blue, and Steve walked inside, Eileen showed Magenta all of her knobs and levers. These will help me figure out what kind of glasses you need so you can see better, she explained. Magenta sat in the doctor's big chair and looked at a blurry chart on the wall in front of her. Then Eileen moved a screen in front of Magenta's eyes and started to move her knobs and levers. Suddenly Magenta could see the letters on the chart perfectly. Will I be able to see like this with my new glasses? Magenta asked. Of course, said Dr. Eileen. Magenta could hardly believe it. Now I'll be able to see the birds and the butterflies, she thought. Soon the eye exam was over. You did great, Magenta. Why don't you pick out some frames for your new glasses? Suggested Eileen. Magenta and Blue walked over to the display and looked at all the different frames. Magenta wanted a pair that was purple and round. She looked and looked. Finally she spotted the perfect pair. Here they are, said Magenta excitedly. Dr. Eileen took the purple frames out of the display and went to get Magenta's new glasses ready. A few minutes later Eileen came back with the glasses. Magenta closed her eyes and put them on. They feel kind of funny and heavy, she said. Don't worry, you'll get used to the way they feel, said Dr. Eileen. But how does everything look? Quote, Magenta opened her eyes. Everything looked so clear. She went over to the window and looked outside. She couldn't believe how well she could see. Take a look, Magenta, Blue said, holding up a mirror. A big smile spread across Magenta's face. She looked so different, but she liked what she saw. You look great, said Steve. Let's go show everyone your new glasses. Steve, Blue, and Magenta thanked Eileen and started on their way home. Magenta could see everything. Look at that cloud, she said. A little farther down the path they came upon a flower patch. I can see bumblebees in the flowers," Magenta said with a grin. And as they continued on their walk home, Magenta pointed out everything she saw along the way, all with the help of her new glasses. Magenta glasses. Magenta glasses.